Welcome to another edition of the SSC TV3 News. We are more than news. We also televise programs, events, and archives that are the lifeblood of our community. This is Friday, March 23rd. I am David Cutright, your host, and these are the topics that will be on our program today. The Music in Our Schools Month, featuring Kristen Knight's 4th grade Boomwhackers, and the citywide cleanup. Now, at this time we will depart from the teleprompter script, which is what I have here. The anchor would have one that's showing on a TV in his anchor room back there, and I would have this so that we stay coordinated. But this is an unusual show, and so I will be stopping to load computers and load videos and to explain things, because today is a day of tour. See what we've got to offer the community. And it was the perfect time because Jeffrey, our normal Friday anchor, is on vacation. And so we will have an inside view and tour and open house kind of all rolled into one of what's going on to happen today. So at this time I'm going to stop and set up a video. I will cut to camera 2 so you can see what I'm doing, and then I will continue with our presentation. And it's ready to cut and ready to go. Now this will be a voiceover. This will not be one of those things that has any music to it. So I'm going to roll it and then explain it. You see the teleprompter is moving. That big screen is a nice handy thing for the anchor to be able to see. The camera is set right below, and that way when they look at the teleprompter it pretty much looks like they're looking at the camera rather than looking down or away. The little tiny television lets you know what's online, so that when you see yourself show up on that, you know you've cut from a commercial or an intro and it's time for you to make your presentation. This is how they control it. They have a laptop and a mouse, and as they need what they need to see, they can cut to that. I'll come back to me here in the studio, and we'll explain a little bit more of what is in the studio. This is a no makeup studio, which means the people that want to be on the show can come right in and they will look really pretty decent without having to spend much time in makeup. We use diffused tungsten halogen lights, which are best for skin tones, and we use a blue background, a medium blue background, so that we don't have harsh glare showing on the shiny foreheads of guys like me. And the yellow skin tones look best against blue. If we had a brown background, we would have a little bit of trouble deciphering where the personality ends and where the background starts. So this is made so that people can be accessed very quickly, walk in if they have something that they want to share with us. We can do it in the studio, live. Now, we also have the capability of recording and playing it back later. Now, also in the studio is the ability to roll that news desk out of the way. It has dolly feet, wheels underneath it, and it rolls out of the way. We can set up an 8-foot table for 4-H demonstrations, cooking demonstrations, whatever we need in the group. Or we can take everything out and put Santa Claus in a chair. We can do whatever we need to in that area. The news desk is not glued down. Now at this time I'm going to switch to a commercial, and so I'll take a brief time out to get that set up here. You can see what's happening there. At that point we freeze it. We wait for the right time for the cueing of the anchor, which would be listed on this sheet here and on his teleprompter. And when he got to the right time, we would hit the space bar here, fade this into number 3, and cut the audio down over here. And here we go. And we are back. I will go ahead and clear this for the next one. Now then, to make things a little more confusing or functional, we have audio that has to go certain places. The communications between camera operator and anybody else is on the left channel. I get to hear it on my left ear. Anything that goes on program is on the right side. And then anything that plays live in the studio is sent through the studio monitor auxiliary bus. So there are 3 different ways to send sound so we don't get feedback and squeal or we don't lose something. Now that pretty much explains everything. So I'm going to go right into our next feature. At this time, the anchor would be explaining that we have a special coming up featuring boom whackers. And this would be Kristen Knight's boom whackers. This is punch to 3. This is number 3. I'll put it on number 2. You can see this is number 3 here. Number 3 here on this. So that when I switch out, it will be number 3. This will go down, DVR is up. Perfectly simple. Here we go. March is Music in Our Schools Month. And in recognition of this, SSC TV3 visited Kristen Knight's 4th grade general music class. The instruments you see are a bit unusual. They are called boom whackers. The shorter ones are higher pitched than the longer ones, and they are color-coded to match actual pitches. For example, red is C and green is G. All you have to do to make them sound is to strike them on something, preferably not another classmate. Listen to them in action. Although they will not solve the world's problems, they are simply a fun way to learn music. Observe what can be done with them at an advanced level. You can hear their entire program on Monday evening, April 30th. And we're back. The newscaster is continuing with the show, and I will get up the next video and have it ready. Now then, a major part of what we do is public service announcements. We call them PSAs, and most of the time they are boring. They're critical, the times and the dates and the places are needed, and so I sometimes spice them up. And so I spiced this one up. This one is basically a big long roll of what can be taken and what will not be taken by the city. And so here we go. I have heard it said that pictures are worth 1,000 words. So let's listen to what these pictures are saying. The one word that comes to my mind that sums up this visual assault is yuck. To prevent this from happening to our fair city of St. John, the city is implementing a citywide cleanup from Monday, April 2nd through Friday, April 6th that is free to all its residents. Now, to make this work well, we need to follow a few simple rules. Now, you have to admit that the music really made that PSA interesting. And I will get the next thing up. Commercial list 2. We do have a lot in common with Fox News. We do have commercials. But we can do something that Fox News cannot do, and that's cover St. John activities. If we covered the things Fox News covered here in St. John, we would have maybe 3 or 4 shows during the year, because how many earthquakes, major fires, and floods do we have in St. John? So we have to have a connection with the people and what they are doing. And that's what we try to do. Major content happening from everything from Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts to PE programs, Christmas programs, all that kind of thing that Fox News can't cover, but we can. So at this time, commercial. And now we are at the close of the show, and so what I need to do is set up the graphics, because that will be needed next. If you have items that need to be announced on TV3 and or placed on the computerized bulletin board, send them to ssctv3@gmail.com. And if you would like to contact the Shepherd Center, sandylandcenter.org is their address. And we'll let that set while I set up the next one. We got to have an outro to end the show. And so with that, we thank you for watching. This basically explains why we're here and what we can do. And as we upgrade, we hope to be able to go from what would be considered low resolution, which would we call SD, standard definition, to HD, which is high definition, which would be much better, much clearer. Instead of 640 by 480, we'd be going 1920 by 1080 at a lot higher bit rate, so that the video would be very clean and very enjoyable. So at this time, we will close out.